Hello vintage computing fans, it's been a while but it's time to make a video. Let's have a look at the system on test. We've got a VS440FX Pentium Pro motherboard made by Intel with the 440FX chipset. There's the Pentium Pro processor in the socket, got the original heatsink and fan. It's a 200 MHz version with the 512 kilobytes of cache memory. It's overclocked to 233 because on this Intel board, see the jumpers there just underneath the Voodoo card. There are some unlisted settings. Doesn't tell you in the manual what they do, they're just reserved settings, but one of them gives you a 3.5 times multiplier, so we can get the 233 clock speed, which is great because it makes it nearly as fast as a Pentium 2, gives it a real nice little boost in performance. Okay, so we've got an OPL3 ISA sound card there, we've got a Voodoo 2 in the socket there, and we've got the card on test, a magnificent Elsa Gloria XL Glint MX chipset. If we look down there, we can see the Glint Delta geometry processor. See if we can get a bit closer to that. See if we can just pick up the writing on it. Just about see it there, Glint 3D Labs. We've got an S3 Verge 64 on the card, that's for DOS, 1 meg of memory for that. We've got the VRAM here, IBM branded. We've got 16 chips on this side of the card, and if we have a look at the other side, we've got another 16 chips here. There's the 2 memory chips for the S3 Trio 64. Got another close look at the card. We've got a SODIMM socket on the back and some EDO memory here. Presumably that's texture memory. We've got a voltage regulator down there. And we've got looks like we've got 2 Glint MX processors on the XL instead of the one on the Gloria L. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. We'll have a look in the settings, display settings, see what the memory configuration is, but I think we've got at least 16 meg of VRAM there, and we've got maybe 16 meg of texture memory as well, but we'll check that in the settings. And memory wise on the board, we've got 128 meg of 72 pin EDO memory. Okay, that covers the hardware. We're going to have I'm going to put the camera on a tripod and we'll have a good look. We've got Windows 2000 Pro running on the machine. We're going to have a look at Softimage 3D 3.7 on the card. It's the sort of application it was designed for, and we'll run a game on it. We'll run GL Quake with Fraps, see how it performs, because I've got a few different cards to test. I've got some Intergraph Intense 3D cards via GL 4000, so I want to do a comparison on this motherboard with this Pentium Pro system to see the performance difference between the cards, because these were the things to have back in the day, and boy did I lust after this sort of stuff, but could never afford it at the time, being about $1,500 for this card. Used to look at pictures in the magazines, but that's as far as I got. Okay, I'll stop the camera here and I'll get it on the tripod and we'll have a look at the system. Okay, we're at the Windows desktop now, so Windows 2000 Pro. We're at 1280 by 1024, 32-bit colour. The card will go up to 1600 by 1200. It's got a little atlas here where you can get to your profiles for your 3D applications like Softimage, etc. In the settings you can see there, true colour 1280 by 1024, Gloria settings in there. We've got again the 3D profiles, and you can alter some of the settings in there as well. Okay, let's have a quick look at Quake. So I'm going to switch it down to 15-bit mode because sometimes we get some corruption when switching when running GL Quake. I'm just going to switch the light on because I've tried this before and Quake, it looked really dark, you could hardly see it. So I'm going to run Joe Quake. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, with the light off, for some reason the screen goes really dark. Yeah, so we're getting about 10 frames per second. It's not brilliant, but it gives us an idea of how the card performs. When I try the other cards, GL 4000, the Intense 3D cards on the system, we'll have some comparison. Tried some other games like Unreal, doesn't run tremendously well. I think Quake ran about the best. As you see, 10 frames per second, but we are getting the full hardware OpenGL acceleration. It does work on the card. And apart from the fonts not being displayed correctly in the menus, game menus, it runs okay. Okay. Let me stop that. We'll have a look at Softimage now. I'm going to switch the light off again. See how that looks. I'm rushing a bit because this battery is not so good in the camera, and I know it's going to run out soon. I'm going to switch to desktop. It's a bit buggy, the drivers. That's the settings. Let's get it back to 32-bit. Let's get it to 1600 by 1200. Which is pretty impressive because some of the other cards don't go this high. GL 4000 doesn't go this high. Well, this one does. Let's have a look in the. Let's have a look at the adapter, just see if it tells us anything. So we've got Glint's Delta processor, Glint MX R1, Delta R1, and we've got Gloria XL. We've got 16 meg frame buffer by the looks of it. That'll be the VRAM. We've got 24 meg texture memory, so 40 meg in all. Not sure where that memory is located on the card. Whether it's that 24 meg on the ends, you know, on that SODIMM part of the card, I don't know. Need to do some research there. Sorry for rushing, but I'm just conscious this camera's going to shut off. Okay, let's get Softimage running. Okay, let's get in here. Okay, so we're in. Perhaps it's still running, that's good. Let's load up a scene. Let's load something up from the workbook. Let's load a quick animation up and have a look at it. Okay. So we've got a preview viewport here. Let's run the animation. I don't know what's happened to Fraps. Yeah, Fraps isn't working now for some reason. So it seems pretty slow, but we are at 1600 by 1200, and back in the day this would have been pretty decent. I mean, some of these animations do use, they are relying on the CPU quite a lot. So, you know, it does appear to be a bit slow, but it's pretty good. It's fully compatible with the software. There's no corruption anywhere. Let's try a simpler model, which isn't going to sort of use any CPU power. Okay, let's run this one. Oh no, hang on, I've got. I'll just wait for this to finish now. I've loaded it up on top of the other, on top of the fish animation, so I have to wait for it to run its course now before I can stop it. This is the problem: if you forget to delete the scene, you can end up with two running at once. The problem is, once you start the keyframer up, as you can see, it's only halfway through. You have to run through the full 100 frames, well, 200 frames. Okay, let's get that scene, let's get that wind chime again. Yeah, so that's, you know, simple models like that running fine. Oh, Wraps is working now, getting 18 frames per second. Or 10 frames, hard to say. Oh, it's really messed up now. So we've got a shaded view there. I orbit the camera around. I've got the octopus in there as well. Forgot to release it, never mind. There you go, that's how long it takes to preview render. Wireframes move nicely. Let's come out and try it at a different resolution. 20 by 1024. See if that gets rid of our problems. You do notice, you know, when you're working with older hardware, that some of it's a bit buggy, some of the drivers and things. Really sort of not playing ball now. Oh, better. See if it'll behave itself now. Let's get that Beethoven scene back. Okay. Okay, so yeah, really, you know, moves really nicely. Let's shade it. It works pretty nicely. So, you know, with a system restart, yeah, everything would be working just fine. It was running Quake. Should have run Quake last, really, instead of running it first and messing up the frame, corrupting the frame buffer. But yeah, it's quite nice. It's very nice, to be honest. The program runs well, believe it or not, when it's when the frame buffer's clear. As I say, GL Quake causes mayhem, and it's quite usable. It's fast enough, not for doing the, you know, the largest models, but, you know, for playing around, doing simpler stuff. It's perfectly usable. Would have been, you know, back in the day, this would have been, it would have been a pleasure to use. Still is now. I love this program. I love the interface, everything about it. It's just totally intuitive. The way they probably still have the same problem because the